The gold medal athlete today. What do you do? So, well, I work for USANA. It's such a cool part of my job. And today is no exception. It is my pleasure to introduce to you and interview an incredible woman and an accomplished Canadian athlete. Natalie Spooner is an Olympic gold medalist for women's hockey and a Clarkson Cup winner. Natalie Marie Spooner is a prominent figure in Canadian ice hockey, a forward who shoots right. Spooner has had an impressive playing career since 2007. She made history in 2014 by becoming the first woman to win both the Olympic gold medal and the Clarkson Cup in the same year. A versatile athlete, Spooner has also represented Canada in ball hockey, winning gold in 2009. Notably, she has a high-performance hockey academy for girls and has appeared on reality TV shows like The Amazing Race Canada, I knew I recognized her, and Battle of the Blades. In 2022, she added another Olympic gold to her previous Olympic gold medal and silver medals. Please welcome to the stage, Natalie Spooner.
Is it working?
It's
there
working.
We go. There we
Welcome.
go. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Now, before we get started, I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but you had a game last night.
I did. We played against New York last night. Luckily at home, so here in Toronto, so I didn't have to travel back late last night. But we won in a shootout, so it was a tight one. It went late, but we're here.
Congratulations. Congratulations. So we're here obviously to talk about how you are a USANA athlete and how you incorporate USANA products into your routine. But before we get to that, tell me a little bit about how you began your career in athletics and in hockey.
Yeah, so I grew up not far from here in Scarborough, and I had 3 older brothers. My parents actually moved from England and knew nothing about hockey. So if you ask them, like, they can't even skate. But my dad was a rugby player, and he said, my kids aren't going to play contact sports, so he put us all into soccer. Well, in Canada, every kid that normally plays soccer in the summer plays hockey in the winter. So my brothers all got into hockey, and I followed suit. We had the backyard rink, the whole shebang, and I mean, we loved it. My older brothers are done playing now, but I'm the only one still playing.
And are they Olympic gold medalists as well?
No.
Well, now, so when you go to dinner, do you wear your medals when you go home?
No, they're my biggest fans.
I think I would do that. So tell us a little bit about why supplements are vital to you as an athlete and why you trust USANA, which of course we heard from Russ a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to just tell you how I got into USANA because
Please.
It's kind of a crazy story. It was actually, so 2014 was my first Olympic Games in Sochi, Russia, and after that, I had applied to go on the Amazing Race Canada, which is a crazy race, with one of my teammates, Megan Mickelson. And during this race, like, you don't sleep much. You could be racing for 24 hours at a time, and she was taking these vitamins, and I was like, how do you have so much energy, and how is this happening? And I was like, I need some of those. So I got her to lend me some while we were on the race, and afterwards I said to her, like, could you connect me with USANA, because I need to keep taking those. Like, the difference I felt just from running that race was crazy, and obviously I was also an athlete and thinking about, you know, the future of my hockey career. So 2014 I got connected with USANA. I started taking their vitamins, and from there it's kind of just taken off. I eventually found out I was actually anemic, and I went on the prenatal vitamins early on. And I did have a son last December, so he's 14 months old now, and I'm still on my prenatal vitamins, and I find that they've made all the world a difference from getting pregnant to my recovery afterwards also.
That is an amazing story.
Yeah.
Amazing. Did you get that little pun in there? Now, so how do you incorporate, I know you said the prenatal,
Yes.
Do you use other USANA products in your day-to-day existence in your life?
For sure. I think as an athlete, like, the main focus is, especially in season, is recovery. So I need to be ready to go again tomorrow for practice. We travel to Minnesota Monday, we play a game in Minnesota, we come back, we play against Ottawa. So Nutrimeal right after practice, or a bar, I've got to get it in me right away. My son also started daycare, so the Booster C has been a big one for me lately. He's been bringing home all the sicknesses, but I've been doing pretty good, which is great. What else? I found another one. Was the Biomega. I think with having a baby, I found out your ligaments change quite a bit and become quite flexible. So I found that the Biomega really helped me in that regard too.
Amazing. That sounds like a great, well-rounded number of products you use from USANA. So in your career, I'm sure you win every single game from the very beginning. Now, I also think that you've probably had obstacles in your life and in your career. Can you tell the audience a little bit about maybe an obstacle or two you've had and how you work through them? Because we all face obstacles day to day, week to week, and month to month. So
yeah, I faced a lot of obstacles, and I think through facing all these obstacles, one of the things that I learned is like if you're able to work hard through your obstacles and overcome them, like the journey is so much more rewarding in the end. From injuries, in the 2018 Olympics, we lost to the US. That was a pretty devastating loss, and our team really had to kind of change our whole team culture to be able to come back in 2022 and win in Beijing. I think one of the biggest obstacles that people may have heard of for women's hockey in general was in 2019 our professional league folded. So we had nowhere to play as players, and we had to come together with the American team and really fight for women's hockey and fight to get a professional league. And this is actually the first year we have the PWHL. And it's bigger and better than we could have ever imagined. I play on the Toronto team, but there's teams in Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, New York, Minnesota, and where's the other US one? New York, Minnesota, Boston. So we got 6 teams to start with, kind of like the NHL original 6. It's going great so far. Last week we had a game at Scotiabank Arena, and we set the record for the most attended women's professional game with 19,825 people there. We brought home a big win. So I would say like a big obstacle, not only for me, but for women's athletics and women's hockey players was recently overcome by having a professional league where we're actually paid and can have a career in hockey. So every little girl now can look up to this league and think that they could have the same dream as any little boy.
Isn't that incredible? That's amazing. Now, you, if I'm not mistaken, you went to the University of Ohio. Is that correct?
Ohio State.
Ohio State. Okay.
Yeah.
What did you study there? If I'm not mistaken, it was nutritional science, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was nutrition pre-med. So I thought, I was loving the hockey thing, but I'd made the Team Canada team, but not the Olympic team yet. And I came out and tried out for the 2014 Olympics. And if I wouldn't have made that team, I probably would maybe sitting where he's sitting, I don't know. Maybe a doctor, I don't know, who knows?
That's neat. Now, is there one USANA product that you could recommend to our guests that are here today to try out first? And if so, what can you think about something that you would?
I would just go for like the core minerals, the antioxidant. I feel like I felt the biggest difference with those initially, before you get into kind of specializing in what you really need. But that's kind of where I started too, and I found a huge difference. And then I eventually went to the prenatals, which I'm still on. But I would say start there and just feel the difference right away.
That's amazing. I'm going to ask you one more question.
Yeah.
Who do you look up to? I love asking this question because it's such an interesting question. I'd love to know who is your mentor, who you look to.
Yeah, there's so many people I think that I felt inspired by through my career. One, I would say probably a teammate of mine that I had at the 2014 Olympics. Like it was my first Olympics. I think I was 21 at the time, so I was pretty young. And going into the gold medal game, I was like nervous wreck from like my head to my toes. I didn't even know what I was going to do out there, and I was playing on a line with Hayley Wickenheiser. If people know who that is, she's like a legend in Canada. And Megan Augusta was my other, who also played in 4 Olympic Games. So I was just like a nervous wreck, and she looked at me and she said, "Just go out there just go out there. Don't care what anyone else thinks." So like pretty much like the stands are full. There's millions of people watching on TV, and she believed in me. Right? Like for my teammate to believe in me, she's like, "Don't care what anyone else thinks, just play your game." And I'm like, okay, if she believes in me, I need to believe in myself. So she really took me under her wing and welcomed me onto the team, I guess. And now I hope to do that for a bunch of the younger girls coming onto our team.
Well, I think that you have found your inspiration, but I'm very confident that you provide inspiration to many, many, probably girls, women, boys, men, but certainly other people in this room as well. So we want to thank you from USANA Canada for being part of this today. We appreciate you. We're going to watch you. You're going to Minnesota tonight? Tomorrow?
Yeah, Monday.
Monday
we fly to
so
Minnesota.
Watch it.
Yeah.
Make sure you
Most
tune
of our games
in.
are on TSN or Sportsnet. You can
Excellent.
watch them now.
Excellent. Well, I'll tune in for sure.
Awesome.
And want to thank you again.
Yeah, thank you so much for
My
having me.
pleasure. Thank you.